California, a land that has long captured the hearts and imaginations of those yearning for a better life, including countless immigrants from around the world. Immigrants from Portugal and their descendants are among those who make up the state's rich cultural tapestry. About 350,000 Californians identify as being of Portuguese descent. Most are from the Azores. Many have settled in cities and towns along the Highway 99 corridor of the Central Valley, a sprawling farming region 450 miles long. Despite the important contributions Portuguese Americans from the Central Valley have made locally and nationally, little is known about them.
Azorians had started settling here in the Central Valley in the 1870s. They started out as sheep herders. They developed a good reputation for being steady and willing to stay out in the field with sheep. And so they were hired first in these large ranches out by Lemoore. And then, of course, they sent letters home and told of the opportunities here. And more of them came and started settling in the area.
There were two waves of Portuguese immigration to the United States. The first was in the late 1800s to the 1920s and was made up of individuals and families seeking better opportunities in America. The second wave followed the eruption of the volcano on the island of Faial in the Azores in 1958. John F. Kennedy, then a senator from Massachusetts, co-sponsored the Azorean Refugee Act, making it possible for almost 5,000 displaced Portuguese citizens to come to the United States. The Family Reunification Act of the 1960s allowed those who had come either at the beginning of the century or those who came post Capelinhos volcano in the late 50s to bring forth their families, their siblings, their mom, their dad. And that was the last exodus from the 1960s, early 1960s, until basically about 1976 to 1980.
When we left our island of Flores, there was no electricity at all on the island. There was no running water in any house. There were no roads, no cars. My brothers and sisters grew up reading and learning to read by an oil lamp. You know, and this is in my lifetime. And so life was very difficult and challenging.
It was just subsistence living. So you had a good living in that it's a very fertile place, very green place. There's fish in the ocean and things grow year round. But that's all you had, and you were very isolated. And so this area here, the San Joaquin Valley, was a great area to come to. Based on, it was very similar to what you had in the Azores in terms of fertile land, and you could have animals and grow crops.
I think we've made some contributions in certain industries more than others. And of course, in the San Joaquin Valley in agriculture, in the dairy industry, according to all data that has been published throughout the years, in the 1970s especially, the Portuguese controlled about half of the dairy products that were being manufactured.
Of course, when they immigrated and they didn't speak the language, the opportunity for them was to all milk cows. So the Portuguese people, whether they were cow people in their homeland, when they got here, they milked cows by hand, and that was their opportunity to get started and to get jobs and then to start their own businesses.
Well, my dad could speak English, and we pretty much started doing this, taking jobs that, Portuguese immigrants, they were offered here. The milking cows, working the dairies, farms, and that's, oh my God, it was a big change for him also. To start working the dairy. He probably did some of that when he was really young in the Azores, but he had to adopt, to act again.
I do remember my brothers were very involved in helping to milk and feed calves and taking hay of the cattle and all that kind of thing.
My father went to milk cows at first. He had never, I don't know that he had touched a cow in the Azores, but he went to milk cows for about 3 months,
We all grew up working here on the farm, from a young age. I don't know exactly when, I estimate it's somewhere between first grade and third grade maybe, before school, after school, weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, summers. We worked all the time.
And so, you know, it's the story of the immigrant farmer that is so, I think, typical from so many of the Azores who chose to come to the valley with really nothing more than the clothes on their back and a strong work ethic and willing to do their best. And certainly my grandparents and my parents reflect that dream.